Hello, Night Nation. Welcome to Sons of UCF Live. I'm Trace Trolko. Adam Eaton is on assignment. We are joined by the host of More Than the Box Score. He is Andrew Cherico. Andrew, welcome in.
Thanks, Trace. Happy to be here. Haven't done this in a while. I have a class going on right now, but I thought
this was... we do not endorse that on the Sons.
Trace, it's all right. I have like a 97.
You have permission from the professor? You're playing hooky on a live show?
Something like that. I hope he doesn't turn this on. I have a 97. I'm graduating hopefully in the fall anyways, fingers crossed. So hopefully I think it'll be all right. Spring break is next week.
I didn't know what to choose as the intro for you. You have so many job titles. So I chose More Than the Box Score, which you have helmed all season, the deep dive into men's basketball, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But for those unknowing, you're also UCF beat reporter at Knights 24/7, amongst the many, many job responsibilities that you have.
And 5th place in Game Within the Game.
This is true. We were talking about it before the show started. You've brought it up, clearly. Congratulations to Nick Williams for his selection of Riley Kugel in the Cincinnati game. He edged my selection at Themis, folks. He takes the season-long crown. That's bragging rights and nothing else.
Beginner's luck, I would say.
Definitely.
I can't believe I've gotten 5th. I think this is my second year in a row getting last place. I'm not sure I'm happy here anymore. I might drop out next.
Whoa! Breaking news. All right, let's get a little serious for a second. Men's basketball is out of the Big 12 tournament, an 81-59 loser to Arizona. The Knights are now 21-11. Of course, they had the good overtime win over Cincinnati that got them into that game. But what did you see in this one, Andrew? We're going to talk to Ben Hazel in a few moments about this, but Knights got buried early in this one. You have to play, not perfectly, but you got to play pretty darn good to knock off in Arizona.
No, absolutely, Chase. I'll be honest with you. I was working in the UCF Student Union. I got my boss to turn on the TV and turn on the game, and I quickly wanted to turn it off right after I saw the score. They were down already 20 points, it felt like, in the first 5 minutes of the game. But I feel like what we've seen from this UCF team, especially in the past, in these big games against these extremely talented teams, is UCF comes out high volume 3-point shots, physical defense. I just feel like we didn't see a good combination of both those against Arizona. The shots just weren't falling. The offense never got their footing going. Just a rough day overall for plenty of the guys. And then the defense, it's hard to contain Arizona, one of the best teams, if not the best team in the country. I know the Cincinnati game, though, I feel like a lot of us didn't expect a win coming into this one. So I felt okay with losing to Arizona, but the Cincinnati game is where I almost lost my marbles. But they pulled it off in the end. It was necessary to make UCF locks in the big game.
Oh, you're calling them a lock. There's still some question marks in bracketology land, you know.
Oh, Trace, the quad 1 wins this season, getting a win in the conference tournament. I feel like this UCF team has proved enough for sure at the biggest stage that they can compete in the tournament, hopefully even get a win round 1 if they're willing and up for it. I think they definitely did enough this season to showcase it, and I think it's time we see the Knights back in the tournament.
You mentioned hitting threes or attempting threes. They didn't hit many. You thought that 3 of 24 was bad against Cincinnati, 3 of 21 against Arizona. And we've seen when the Knights are successful from 3, they are competitive and win games. And these two, I don't know how they pulled out a victory, quite honestly, against Cincinnati. Any number of things could have gone against them, trailing double digits at various points in that game. But you can't go 3 of 21 from 3 against Arizona and expect any different result than the one they earned on Thursday.
No, Trace, absolutely not. And I think what we saw against the Cincinnati team was pure grit from the UCF roster trying to secure a spot for the tournament. But this team isn't playing at the same caliber as when they were coming off the win streak in Utah. This offense hasn't clicked the same. You can see there's some mishaps going on. The offense isn't flowing as well. The shots feel kind of stagnant. There isn't as much on and off ball movement. And then once again, we know Johnny Dawkins' system. It's the defensive effort. The Knights feels like sometimes there's a ball going up, nobody's there to get the rebound, a lot of second chance opportunities for the opposing team. And we saw Arizona take care about with that against UCF, but against Cincinnati, the Knights did quite literally just enough. They scrapped in the final minutes regulation. They were able to pull it out in overtime. Scary game. I'm not quite sure how they kind of pulled it off. It felt like one of those wins where like, how the heck did they do that? But just have to take a deep breath and be like, okay, that's the one that they need. And it's kind of crazy to say, Tracy, like this is a team, 20 wins over plenty ranked opponents during the season, and it still comes down to one game for them making the tournament. I still think they are going to make it, but I know it's still, especially with the loss, but I think they're good.
We saw them play at Houston, and then in this game, the physicality of both Houston and today Arizona was intense, and it felt at times like the Knights just literally being pushed off the ball by the Wildcats. Very physical game, and I don't think they handled that particularly well.
No, I think what we saw against Arizona was, I think UCF was getting some solid shots, but it wasn't enough. Guard Themis folks can only do so much. Jermichael Stillwell can only attack the interior so much, but it has to be an all-around team effort. And it just feels like sometimes UCF feels kind of stagnant. They're not flowing as well offensively. We've heard from Johnny Dawkins all year long. They need to regroup and respond. And they certainly need to do that once they find out their selection on Sunday. But for the most part, against Arizona, it's a game where they know they need to reset now and try to really get back into it, because I'm not sure where the fall off happened, Trace, between the win against BYU and then the loss in the final two games of the season. It feels like it's not clicking the same way.
Well, I know Ben Hazel is a big no excuses guy, but can we be fair here? You've got Jeremy Fumina, who had been hurt. Jermichael Stillwell has had ankle injuries, foot injuries, right? You've got Riley Kugel with a toe injury. John Bowl left this game with an upper body injury. That is a lot of guys walking hurt and trying to make it through a game. I'm not trying to make excuses, but you can't have all of those pieces hobbled and expect to be competitive.
No, it's absolutely poor timing for a lot of the health-related reasons. I think we saw there is still a big difference when Jermichael Stillwell is in the interior as opposed to when he's not there. You can see a difference in the rebounding, difference in the physicality. And with John Bull, he's young, but he has gotten better, I would say, almost every game this season. The way he attacks the rim, the way he protects the paint. I'm hoping that he is okay and then good to go for the tournament. I see in the comment section too many stupid fouls. I feel like UCF this season has built especially a bad reputation for late game fouls. UCF has put themselves in plenty of positions to win, and they would be one or two wins better without some, I would say, dumb mistakes down the stretch. But in terms of the health, not the best timing for a lot of it. This team has been relatively healthy for majority of the season, and now the late injury bug is not what we're looking for.
You used the word lock earlier. You talked about some of the points on the resume. Again, wins over Kansas, Texas Tech, BYU, the quad one wins, the wins above, the net ranking. But you've got human beings in a selection room, and you don't know what they're going to talk about. How does it work that UCF might get squeezed out, or you're really 100%? You're calling it a lock on a Thursday night.
It's hard for me to say 100%. I hate being absolutely certain about anything. But comparative to the country, the Big 12 is the best conference in college basketball. I feel like that's an absolute this year, especially this season. UCF competed for majority of the season. Even in the regular season against Arizona, they took them late. They had a very good competitive game. This is a UCF team that could pull off upsets. Like I said, it's almost like a different kind of style when UCF is going against top of the top competition. You can see the volume, the three-point shots go up. You can see the physicality of the traps, the defense is kind of pressed in. But in terms of the selection room, you never know what those guys are thinking in there. It gets a little bit crazy, a little bit hectic. I would like to say UCF is a lock, and hopefully they're in Tampa. I would love to go out and cover that game if that's where they go. But I would say they have a good chance. I feel like in majority of the brackets we've seen, they've been last four in. In terms of that, against BYU, it almost felt like they were going in as a higher seed, and you would think they finish off the season strong, and then just a steep decline towards the end of the season. Like I said, though, Cincinnati, if they didn't pull that off, another conversation would be had right now. but
Yeah.
thankfully they were able to do just enough, the bare minimum, to get that win.
I texted Ben Hazel at the end of the Cincinnati game and just said, "This is exhausting." And he said, "This is March. We welcome in ESPN Plus basketball analyst Ben Hazel to talk about March Madness and the conclusion of the night's stay in Kansas City at the Big 12 tournament." Ben, hello.
Hello, Andrew. What up, baby? This sounds so somber in here. Like, we're in a good spot. We're going to the tournament.
That's what I'm saying. I know this isn't bow tie, man.
He's channeling his inner Nick Williams energy.
No, let's relax. I'm still positive. I'm all aboard the positive train. I said 99% lock. You know, I was going to say, this isn't bow tie, Ben, but I feel like the apparel going on, this is the second best attire we're going to get. I like this.
Just know the only reason I didn't wear a bow tie, because this team deserves a bow tie based on this season, is because we got more games to play, baby. I think we might have another chance.
I agree.
I should mention, in addition to the ESPN Plus work that Ben does, he's one of Andrew's colleagues with Knights 24/7, working on columns every week, talking about the Knights. All right. Where do we start, Ben? Do we start with that Cincinnati game? The Knights battled back in that one. They force overtime. They take 2 of 3 from the Bearcats on the season, and that kept them alive and moving into Arizona. What did you like about the Knights' performance? You certainly didn't like 3 of 24 from 3, but what did you like?
Well, so basically, I know there's one side where people would say, hey, we didn't play that great. Oh, man, we didn't shoot it well. Oh, it looked really tough to beat a Cincinnati team. Well, what I would say is, if this was Michigan State or any other program, you would say that's the sign of a good team. A team that even when they're not giving their best, they still win against a really hot Cincinnati team, right? Like, this isn't a team that is shocked that they're playing well, because they've been playing well the entire month of February. So they responded, didn't succumb to the pressure, stayed in the fight, even though most of the fan base in the world was not, and figured out a way, right? Like, that's the name of the game. That's why we say we're prepared, and why I'm so proud of the team. Like, those are situations where we typically have wilted sometimes in the past. And these are the situations that you need to have go your way. And that's across the board, from us all the way up to Arizona, to Kansas, to BYU. Every team has had games like this. And I'm just happy that we are one of those teams that can rest on our laurels and say, even if we don't play well, we'll still be in the fight. And we know that our guys will still give it their best.
One of the things that people say most about your appearances with us is that you're no nonsense. You say it like it is. You're a straight shooter, and people like that. No excuses, Ben Hazel. Can we talk about, though, that this is a kind of a gimpy team at this point in the season? Jeremy Fumina, Riley Kugel with a toe injury. John Bull goes out in this one with an unknown upper body injury. And, of course, JaMychal Stillwell has been battling through a lot of things all season. It is taking a little bit of a toll on this team at this point in the season.
Yeah, it's taking a toll. And it's just like everybody, right? Like, you hear it across every sport. You hear it in football. You hear it in hockey. You hear it in baseball. You hear it in basketball. Nobody feels good in March. Feels good going into playoff runs. You just saw Texas Tech had another injury, right? Like, it's just something that's a part of the game. We really would love to see what our team can do if we had our full, fresh team. But so would a lot of teams. You know, I think guys are giving it their all. Guys are a little hurt. Guys are a little banged up. But what we have to love is that we've been here. We've won games with pieces missing, like that coming out party that we had when we utterly smashed BYU without Riley Kugel. So, hey, this is, again, the madness of March, man. Like, we really just, you got to say your prayers if that's what you do, and just hope for the best.
You mentioned the court. You mentioned the injury of a Texas Tech player, maybe related to the court. What did you think of the court, how it appeared on TV?
Yeah, so I loved it as an idea, right? Like, the way it looks.
It sounded good in the meeting room.
Right. Every person that doesn't have to play on it, I think, could say it does look cool. But the number one question is, how does it feel like underneath your feet? Is there still the same spring that you feel on most arena floors? Does it have any give to it? Stuff like that. So I haven't seen guys necessarily complain too much about it, but you have seen, a decent amount of slipping going on. And then, of course, you hate to see the injury that happens. Of course, everybody's going to point to the floor. I don't know if there's any validity to that, but, it is something cool. It is potential revenue, that's for sure.
How many different courts or different styles of courts did you play on, or were they mostly the same during your playing days?
They're all a little different. I mean, the mid-majors, you probably see a lot more variety of a court than you do high major, just because you play in arenas most of the time. So those floors where you're moving them in and out is pretty standard from your Power 5 schools. But for us, you sometimes might play in some smaller gyms, more of those rustic feels where the courts, the rims, all of those things might be a little bit different, but nothing noticeable, right? Like nothing to where you're like, oh man, this is, terrible or this is just so much better.
Ben, we've had these conversations before about the past UCF seasons. You said this team deserves its flowers. Cincinnati, historically, Cincinnati would get the best of UCF in a situation like the Big 12 tournament. Do you think that feels that much sweeter for this team and the coaching staff to have gotten that one up over Cincinnati this year?
Yeah, I'll do you one better. I know it's sweet for me. They got a guy that's making more than our entire team. He played for us, and now he's getting paid more than our entire team is getting paid. And they did some backdoor dealings to get that team that they got there, and we sent them home packing. That makes me feel great. So, yeah, no, it definitely adds some juice to it. It definitely adds some flair, and I'm for it. That's what happened, and they lost. I hope they talk about it while they're sitting on the couch watching us play in March.
Absolutely. And I know we were speaking on it briefly. The team is fighting some injuries right now, a little tough stretch to end the season. How do they get back to form where they beat BYU, especially without Riley Kugel?
See, that's the thing, baby. We don't need to get back to form. We just needed to show up one day. All we need, one day. Everybody get together, do your little rituals, whatever good luck superstition you have. We all need to be on board, because we know that when our team is doing those things, we can beat any team in this country, right? Everybody talks about BYU, but what about Kansas? What about Texas Tech? I mean, hey, like there's moments that if we can get to that form, we are going to be a tough out. But it's March, it's madness. We don't know who we're going to play against. We don't know what they got on the other side, right? So I think as long as we keep the energy high, keep the effort high, guys stay in the fight, and I think we just got to be happy that we're in the mix.
Trace, I'm not sure about you, but I'm feeling somewhat of a disturbance in the live stream right now. Are you feeling?
Yeah, I wonder if our next guest agrees with you. He is a legend UCF basketball player, current broadcast analyst, Sons of UCF alum. He is BJ Taylor, and he joins us on Sons Live. Did you hear Ben Hazel? Do you agree with Ben, BJ?
Well, first off, I just want to let you know, Ben, I told them, make sure you don't let Hayes know that I'm showing up to the stream tonight. Thank you guys for having me on. Trace, good to see you. Andrew, you as well. Hayes, you're my guy. I think when you look at UCF right now, obviously, losing, 4 of the last 5, I believe, is what it's been. Obviously getting that comeback win yesterday over Cincinnati, it's not the kind of momentum that you really want going into the tournament. Nevertheless, that's the bottom line, is they're going to be going to the tournament, right? And once you get into the tournament, no one will remember, right, what happened the way you ended the season. It's just not how it works. If this team goes into the NCAA tournament and wins the first game in the round of 64, we won't be talking about them losing 4 of their last 5 games, or the slow start yesterday. I mean, the slow start today against Arizona, anything like that, the 3-game slide to end the season, all those things will go away. When you look at this group, this is a team that, to Hayes' point, they beat some of the best teams in the Big 12. They've knocked off of BYU. They've knocked off of Kansas. They've knocked off of Texas Tech. Right? They beat these teams. So going into whatever matchup they'll be right now, they're projected as an 11. They'll be playing a 6. So, they're a team that they're capable of beating a 6 seed, right? They've shown that throughout this season, but they've also shown, they are capable of losing to some of the bottom feeders in the Big 12. So it really just depends on which UCF team shows up. If we're being totally honest, you never really know right now. It's kind of a flip of a coin, heads or tails. But if the right UCF team shows up, this is the team that can definitely win not only a game, but they could win 2 games in March. If the wrong team shows up, they're a team that could get blown out by 30 in their first round of 64 game, right? It really could go either way.
Ben was just talking about, BJ, that he appreciated the effort the Knights put forth against Cincinnati. Maybe a different UCF team wouldn't have responded the way they did and come back like they did, and that showed something about this Knights team this season.
Sure. I mean, I think that game against Cincinnati, they showed a little bit of resiliency. They showed a little bit of fight, especially there. They could have thrown in the towel against Cincinnati there, especially late in that game. That's not what those guys did. I mean, overall, you have to give a lot of credit for what this group has accomplished and what this group has done, as well as they've performed this season. We've got to keep in mind that this is a group that was expected to finish in the bottom of the Big 12, right? This is a team that on sheer talent alone, when you look at them on paper, they are not a group that brings you a lot of fear. They're not overly imposing. You got to look at guys like Famous Folks and Jermichael Stillwell, who are our two most important players. Those are two guys who came from the Horizon League last year, and they've been able to hold their own, if not more. Famous Folks has been one of the best point guards in the Big 12 all season long. He's been one of the best dime droppers, best assist players in all of college basketball, coming from the Horizon League. Outstanding. John Bolin, the way he's improved. Trace, Andrew. I mean, this is a guy, again, at Ole Miss. Did not get much time, did not get much run. And I mean, he has become a staple for us inside. I hope everything's all right with his chest. I hope he can, he'll be able to go and march. Anything in that area is always a little bit concerning. Not just for him as a basketball player, but just long term and his health, things like that. So you hope he's all right. But I mean, his performance and the way he's improved throughout this season has been incredible. And then you have guys like Riley Kugel, Chris Johnson, and Jordan Burks who have made shots in the biggest games and kind of been some of our go-to scorers. And these are guys that have never been in that role before. So, I mean, the overall outlook of the program and what this team has done this season, this is by far, hands down, the best coaching job that I can't just say that Coach Dawkins has done at UCF. I would even go back to his Stanford years and probably say this is the best coaching job that he has done in terms of what he has gotten out of this group and this team with this roster. It's been absolutely exceptional. So I think when you look at them as a whole, again, it all comes down to which team shows up. Their consistency is their biggest question, but their highs are high and their lows have been low. We just got to hope that, Thursday or Friday next week that their high is coming to play.
Ben, you heard what BJ said.
All-star team right now. This feels like we have some lineup going for. I feel like this is appropriate too. I feel like we all know UCF is going to March. They're going dancing. That's the big hope. I think obviously from every bracket we've seen that's a lock. And speaking about all-star teams, BJ, I wanted to ask you: is there anything different about Coach Dawkins when you guys entered the tournament? Did he have an uptick in his coaching style, or was there anything that changed? Do you see a different intensity?
No, I mean, Ben can follow up on this too. I mean, he's the same guy. He really is. He is going to be the same guy, whether you're playing, like I guess some team that's an inferior opponent from a low major conference, or whether you're playing Duke, Kansas, or Kentucky, right? His approach is absolutely the same. In the way that he's going to get guys prepared and the way he's going to get guys going. That's just who he is. I think there is the biggest thing I always tell everyone, there's a huge misconception that he is a very relaxed guy because he doesn't, have those fiery outbursts on the sidelines as frequently as like a Kelvin Sampson or a Jamie Dixon or some of these guys, that kind of lose their mind and lose their cool, right? Frank Martin and stuff. That's not who he is outwardly. But if you are in those huddles and in those timeouts, the intensity is palpable. Like you can feel it. If you turn the ball over, you feel like he is going to absolutely just absolutely rip into you, and he does. So that's the biggest misconception with Coach a lot of times, that they think they take his kind of reserved demeanor for a lack of intensity, and that's just not the case.
And then Ben,
all his life. Ben's been around him since he was born, so he knows Coach as well as anyone.
Yeah, and I'll follow up with that same question. Do you see any difference in Dawkins, or I'll even take it one step further? Is there a different kind of passion or a different kind of intensity that he brings?
Oh no, he's arguably one of the most competitive people I've ever known. Right, that's from horse to bowling to ping pong. Like that dude doesn't want to lose in anything, and he's reserved in his expression of that to you. But when you start, you see it, you know it, and he shows it. So, I don't think there's any difference. BJ knows, when you stop by the gym, you can almost, the schedule by heart. If you've been able to go see it, it. There won't be much deviation from it, because Coach Dawkins, in his head, he's trying to win every single game and doesn't believe any opportunity should be taken lightly. So BJ said it. That intensity, if you're in that locker room, is as high as it's ever been. and it's like that all the time. So people have asked, like, hey, is there any motivation there that he has with, the contract and things like that? And I would say not that I know of, just because he's doing what he's been trying to do this whole time, which is win games.
On that point, we've seen other high-profile coaches step aside from the game and not want to be in this NIL era and all of that. And you hear Coach Dawkins consistently say he's adapted to it. He likes coaching young men. From both of your perspective, he has sort of moved along with the game as it has changed.
He has. I mean, I think his ability to adjust and adapt to the way things have gone. I mean, you hit it on the head, Trace. I mean, when you look at, Coach K and Roy Williams and Tony Bennett and, Jay Wright and all these guys who were tremendous for college basketball and, really got out of it, Nick Saban on the football side, really due to, the changes in the landscape and just not wanting to deal with a different kind of player and dealing with the agents and all these people around them, dealing a little bit, kind of with, what Bill Self has had to deal with at Kansas this year, some with Darren Peterson and all these different things that these players have going on now. It's tough, but Coach has been able to adapt. I think the biggest thing that he does is he's still able to cultivate relationships with the players, right? The players know that he cares about them and they know that he has their best interest at heart at all times. I mean, that's probably his number one trait in terms of why he's still been able to adapt, even with these 1-year guys, that we're going to have a turnover of the roster again next year. He's able to build up a sort of really quality relationship with these guys in a really, really fast amount of time.
Yeah, no, I would say BJ knows it. BJ lived it, right? Even more so than me, is he just takes a ton of pride in just that connection that he's able to make with his players, just the love that he has for them as human beings. I think that's one thing that you really feel and why he's had such great relationships is because he's had so much success. He doesn't try to kind of live through anybody or get caught up in any given moment. He kind of understands that this is just a part of their journey, their process, and always wants to be like a positive part of every single player that he coaches journey. So whether that mean they want to transfer, he's not the type of guy that'll hold it against the kid or be upset with them. He'll be like, hey, I definitely respect your decision as an athlete, and definitely just do his best to really help guys out. Even so far, like I'm even like, Coach, man, that'll be cool to him. And he's always, nice to guys. He's always giving them respect. And I think that's why he's just so beloved across the country.
I don't know if you saw that comment that was on screen a moment ago, BJ, asking this team versus 2019, who you got and why?
That's so funny. I mean, you know what thing is, man, like, I don't know. We do this, like we compare our teams to like teams now. And I don't really get into that. Like it's kind of like UCF versus the other teams. It's not like our team versus our current team. Like people have tried to do that. They tried to do that with DJ. Like as soon as DJ got to UCF, it was like DJ and BJ, and it was like, well, it's kind of DJ against like Memphis, and it's DJ against Oklahoma State, and DJ against Houston and Jamal Shed. Like our years, it was against UConn and those teams. So yeah, I mean, I don't really get into like our team versus their team. I mean, this current team against a past team. Now BJ versus Ben one-on-one match, something I give up. What we playing?
Nah, I'm too old. I'm not even gonna do that. This is how you end up with a torn ACL or something. I'm not even gonna go down that path.
So true.
This one's for both of you guys. What do you think UCF needs to emphasize or execute the most? Maybe get a first round win in the tournament if they make it in, and maybe continue a run after that.
Go ahead, man.
I'm going to say rebound the ball. That's going to be a huge emphasis. Like if they don't, one of the favorable matchups will be that we don't get one of those big bruising teams that could just wear us out in the paint. I think that'll be step one. And then of course, we talked about shooting the ball. Like if we're able to rebound the ball and get out and go and make shots, we're one of the tougher teams to beat in the country.
Yeah. I mean, one, Themis has to be great. Like in the games that we win, Themis has to essentially be the best guard on the floor, right? Like we can't, and it's not like he's played bad in games that we've lost or anything along those lines. It's just more so he has to really dominate the game and not only create for himself, but create for others, right? So we can't win a tournament game if Themis has 8, 9 points and only 4 assists, right? That means the other team did a really good job of corralling him and making things tough. And that probably means other players didn't really get off. It got to be, a Themis 15, 16 points, 8, 9 assist game, limited turnovers, right? Like he has to play really well because that usually leads us to us getting a better quality of shot, because that's the second thing we have to do. We got to make shots from the outside, right? Again, in a tournament game, we're not going to dominate the paint most likely. I think the only game we really did something like that was against Texas Tech, where, Bowl had a double-double and Stillwell had a double-double. But most of the time when we win, like at BYU, we make shots from the outside. Riley makes shots. Jordan Burks makes shots. Chris Johnson makes shots. Themis is able to, just push the ball and get to where he wants to on the floor and set the table for those guys. So those are really the two keys, right? If you're looking at what, if I was defending UCF, that would be the focal point of we've got to slow down folks, right? If we can corral folks, then it makes it really, really hard on the rest of these guys and UCF to have a great scoring day, and then secondly, we got to make sure we get these guys off the three-point line and make them drivers and make them kind of finish around the rim.
Absolutely. And this one's for both of you again, but BJ, I'll ask you first. A lot, the comparisons, the special 2019 team, one basket away. But for this UCF team, what do you think during your tenure and the time that you played started to click on all cylinders? What allowed you guys to reach that level, I would say, of flow state on the court where you guys were competing with the best of the best in the country?
I mean, we had a competitive edge as a group. Like there was a spirit with our team that was very intense. Our group was a little bit more hard hat, defensive, plain and simple. You weren't going to punk us. Like that was our thing. Like we might lose, but we're not going to lose the fight. Like we going to be out here to, let's do this. If we lose, it's probably because we only scored 52 points or something like that. It's not going to be because we didn't, bring it defensively with Taco Fall and Colin Smith and, Aub and Terrell Allen and these guys, right? These are all tough guys. I think, that was kind of our calling card. I think this team gets themselves going a little bit more on the offensive end, right? Like when you see them kind of reach that, as you kind of called it, Andrew, like a flow state, they're making shots from the outside, and then that leads to them playing harder on defense, and now they're feeling good about themselves, right? Like they kind of get everything from the offensive end, whereas us, we were a lot more defensive oriented. Let's make this other team tap out. Let's make this a grind. And then if we can have a close game with, 5 minutes left, we feel like we can make the plays down the stretch to win a ball game. So I think, if you're looking at this team, it's more so if they have a game shooting where they're not shooting as well as they'd like to, will they still be able to play with the same level of intensity that they need to, whether their morale drop or anything like that, because they're not making shots? That can't happen in March. Can't happen in the Madness if they want to win a game.
Yeah, my thought on like a flow state, I guess, is like even when I think about my team when we went to the tournament, or even when we had success, or what kind of Coach Dawkins preaches a little bit of is getting lost in the fight. And it's literally what BJ said, right? Like their team was about imposing their will, but that's just an emphasis on being so locked in on the challenge that the other team is presenting you. That means I don't care what the refs are doing. Coach can make the right call, the bad call. Ref can make a good call, bad call. Fan can start screaming, bad tech. No matter what, I am so focused in on just what I need to do on this next play, what I need to overcome, how I need to adjust. And once you become lost in that, you really don't feel pressure. You really don't feel the environment. You just become so immersed in just trying to give it your all and winning a game.
Yeah, it's all about going to the next possession and going to the next play and just moving on, right? So a lot of times I'll get questions about the Duke game, and I'll get asked, like, did it feel like such a good game when you were in it? And my answer is always no, because it was just next play, right? Like, this happens, they score, well, now we need to score. Now we just scored, we need to get a stop. Like, it's all about going to the next thing that you got to do, to where you're not even seeing like that moment. You have to be so immersed in what's happening right now. Like if you hear people say, be where your feet are and stay in the present, like in March Madness, this team should feel it. Like Hayes knows, there's nothing like being in the Madness. There's nothing like being in the tournament. So if you're not going to get lost in the fight in the tournament, you never will. it should happen. It should naturally, galvanize with this group. So I hope it does.
BJ, you got me ready to go out there and suit up.
Yeah,
I can see the screen.
Yeah, hey, Andrew, look. If you let me drive, I'll swing you a little kick out for a corner triple, my boy.
I'll make it happen. Someone can make that happen.
BJ, let's end on this one. How much of a rising star is Ben Hazel on camera?
No, he's been amazing, man. I'm so happy for my guy. I love the fact that he came to us as a Princeton grad, and now he's not even a Princeton Tiger anymore. All right. Do you know how much a university has to embrace you for you to leave behind your Ivy League roots? You don't hear that often. Right? It's the first thing that comes out of people's mouths. I went to Princeton, I went to Columbia, I went to Yale, I went to Harvard. It's usually the first thing they tell you. He doesn't even tell people that anymore. He tells people now, I went to UCF. All right, I'm a UCF Knight now. I did my undergrad at Princeton. He sprinkles it in at the end of conversation. It's amazing, but he's been fantastic. He's doing an awesome job. I'm very happy for him, and I can't wait to see his career continue to blossom, because you guys haven't even got the real Ben Hazel yet. Wait till you guys get unfiltered Ben. Wait until you get Ben After Dark. That's when you're gonna really get the good stuff. That's when the real good content is gonna hit. So just keep prying at him, let him keep getting more and more comfortable, and then once he gets real comfortable, that's when he's really gonna just take off.
That's a good show idea. I like that. Ben After Dark. Trace, set that up.
I like that. Ben, is there a piece of advice BJ's given you that has helped you in your broadcast career?
Oh man, one piece of advice.
No.
He's given me more than one, honestly. It's kind of funny just with the BJ thing, and you talk about just my path with him. I was with Coach Dawkins and I watched the team from the Aubrey perspective, and Coach Dawkins just with his care about players, and BJ being one of the main guys. He always used to talk about BJ and the stuff he's doing. And I've talked about, I'm like, we got to give BJ the ball and all that. And then fast forward to now, the amount of advice, the stuff, the people he's connected me with, just the things that he's shown me. As far as I've gotten is all literally, I didn't even know it was possible till, kind of got connected to BJ. So, we talk about me, but BJ, I've already said he's the mayor of Orlando. But he's becoming more of a national mayor. So definitely check out the CBS coverage and all that good stuff, because, my boy's in studio now. So he's definitely, getting up there. But he's probably, I guess I would say, if I were to actually answer your question, was just, I think with the broadcasting, he's always given me advice, pre-games, all of that stuff. But just going out there, giving it a chance, giving it a try is really just what BJ pushed me to do. Said, hey, if you want to do it, this is how you could do it. This is how you prepare. And I pretty much just followed his advice all the way till now. So, and I'm still following his advice. So, we'll see.
These are the last kind words I'm going to hear for the month of March. All right, this is
I'm tracking all his picks and everything. So yeah, let's all watch BJ on CBS and then give him a hard time about his picks.
He'll call at 8 in the morning to talk about basketball and be like, so you really thought Arizona was going to – I'm like, it's 8 in the morning, okay? It's 8 in the morning.
I won't impede too much, but how intense do some of the game day texts get, especially if you see UCF on the road, you guys are talking.
I think me and Ben, honestly, we will disagree about the smallest of things, right? We will disagree about things and it will turn into a whole 30-minute long discussion, right? We'll be watching a UCF game and he'll be saying, well, they got to do this, or I'll be like, well, they got to do this, the first half up at Cincinnati where we came out slow, right? And it just we'll have back and forth about about so much, but it's always good conversation. It's always, the end of the day, we all want to see the program succeed. He wants to see the program succeed because now this is his alma mater, and obviously natural ties.
Yeah, I will say there's been a time where I'm even talking to BJ. I'm like, yo, BJ, are we not going to the Sweet 16 anymore? What are we talking about, BJ? This is your school. This is the program you built. But
he brings up a good point with that. I would like to put a reminder, if I'm doing a national game, who knows where I'm going with this? I'll make it quick. If I'm doing a national game, everyone, I have a job to do as an analyst to be an unbiased party to the game. I want to make that very clear. All right. For those who don't understand what it means to be a color analyst for a game, you have to call the game as it goes. All right. Does it hurt my heart as much as anyone? Yes, it does. I would obviously, it'd be amazing if we could win every single game by 100 points, but there's a job to be done. So I know it can be difficult sometimes for the fan base when I have to, Utah's going on an 11-0 run. If we're playing UCF, I have to highlight the 11-0 run by Utah, and I have to make it sound great. Okay, there is a job to be done. All right, but for those, and Ben can speak to this, blood, sweat, and tears for the program, I don't think my allegiance needs to come into question. All right.
What do you mean you're not saying that UCF is going to win the national championship on live television? Unacceptable.
Exactly.
Unacceptable.
Like that, Andrew. Exactly. Right. 100%.
You guys are rock stars. We are glad to have you a part of the Sons of UCF family. BJ Taylor, Ben Hazel, thanks for being with us on Sons Live, and look forward to Sunday and selection show and March continuing the madness.
All right. Thank you guys.
Appreciate it. Thank
you guys. All right. Not bad, Mr. Cherico. Not bad to have Ben Hazel and BJ Taylor mixing it up, talking a little UCF hoops.
That's an all-star lineup right there. I feel like looking for any kind of basketball coverage in the UCF ecosystem, this was the spot to be.
Not bad. I wish we were talking about a win over Arizona, but they got the win over Cincinnati, which we think has clinched things. They're as confident as you are. What do you make of this? Is this just some bracketology fun by the Joe Lenardis just to keep the drama?
Everybody loves to throw in little bits and pieces, get the fan bases all riled up. If you objectively looked at UCF's resume this season, there's no reason why they shouldn't be playing in the tournament.
Gotcha. Soon enough, we'll be turning the page from basketball to spring football. Have you heard anything more clearly about a practice schedule? They've teased us with that we're going to get some more details, but I haven't seen any in my inbox.
No, not too much yet, Trace. I'm hoping late March. I'm craving football. I know it's spring football and everybody gets all overexcited, overhyped. It's overreact. I call it overreaction time of the year. UCF is going to win the national championship because of a practice clip that I post of a touchdown, or UCF is going to go a winless the entire season because I post an interception. But it is one of the favorite times of the year where you get to see the team start to build that unity, start to build that camaraderie of, maybe you get a sense of what this team could do. Last year, spring football, I should say, was a bunch of fun. You got to see Scott Frost back in the UCF gear for the first year. Now let's take things up a notch. Let's see how much different the program's going to be this second time around with Coach Frost leading the charge. I think it'll be exciting. A lot of new additions to the team, not as many as last year. So, Trace, I'm not going to be going through my document trying to find out everybody's number. It took me like a minute to post every clip because I just didn't know everybody's number.
You don't automatically know the name and number and all of that.
We're going to be a little bit better this year. We're going to be, I think, in terms of getting the clips up, you guys will find a lot of that content on Nice 24/7. I'm going to have uploaded videos of all the practice clips. I'm going to put the highlights on Twitter or X because I know what everybody loves.
And you break it down too. You go into a deeper dive in your articles than you're able to, of course, on Twitter.
Oh, absolutely. I try my best to give you my analysis. I'm not any genius of the game of any sort, but I know I love the sport and I know I love what I'm talking about. So try to give the best breakdowns that I can, list who may be in the starting front, who's starting on the line, who's starting at the playmaking positions, give a breakdown of what may have went wrong or what went right in the play. And I try to give that breakdown to the best of my ability. And I'm planning to do a whole ton of that for the website, Nice 24/7, as well as Twitter, and then even Trace coming on Sons Live and talking about what I've observed throughout spring.
Well, a year ago, we didn't know who Cole Kozlowski was. We said, who's this guy from Colgate? And now a year removed from that, feels like we miss him, Night Nation. He found a way to connect in this transfer portal era, not only his play on the field, but his demeanor off the field, his presence at the mic during press sessions. It was good, though, for UCF to retain Lewis Carter. How else do you evaluate the linebacker position as we get closer to the beginning of
First,
season?
I want to talk about Cole really quickly. I didn't get the opportunity to really speak about this, but when UCF had the big win, I believe it was over Texas Tech space game, Cole Kozlowski was still in the crowd, and he was pumping up everybody. He was with the new UCF players. Alonzo Barnett was there. I was down courtside getting ready for the court storming, and he was screaming, "Andrew, go Night Sharks!" like all that good stuff. And in an era of the transfer portal and players only staying 1 year at the universities they're attending, it felt like a fresh of breath air to see Cole Kozlowski be so immersed into the UCF fan base and the atmosphere. And I don't think we've seen the last of him in terms of him being active online or him being at games, in terms of, just being a supporter of the fan base. Because I know I've felt, and I've spoken with him plenty of times, such a great guy. I think he'll still stick around and he'll be a supporter of UCF. Now, talking about this new linebacker core, Lewis Carter, you mentioned, I expect him to fully be a captain next year. I think he was one of the biggest surprises, if not the biggest surprise on defense.
Do you think they'll have a different approach to the captains that seem to change?
I would say I'm more of a fan of the season captain than the game captain. Excuse me. That UCF that UCF was having on display. I think it can build some continuity for the season, especially if you want to rely on your leaders late in games. It's good to know who you're relying on every game. Now, the ideal situation is you can rely on everybody. Everybody's a leader in the defense, but the reality is some people step up more than others. And I think you're going to see the veterans of this UCF defense, the guys who were part of one of the best defenses in the Big 12 from last season, step up and take a leadership presence. So I would hope that we start to see the season-long captains. And like I said, I think Lewis Carter would be one of the first guys elected because of the way he handled himself on the field and off the field. He's such a great guy. I met with him at the Raising Canes, where he became a Raising Cane ambassador, and just had a conversation with him. And he loves Orlando. He loves the opportunity to play close to home, and he loves this UCF team. Great guy. I can't wait to see him go out on the field because he'll be a leader in the middle of the field. Now, for everybody else that has newly entered the linebacker room, it'll be a battle.
It's like everybody else, right? We don't really know what we're getting.
We got Jaleel Kulbreath, Tackett Curtis, Rashad Henry, Phil Picardi, Preston Hall, and Matthew. I'm butchering everybody's name. God, I'm bad with names. I'm not going to say Matthew Akapinski. I think I give that a solid shot.
I think that's good. That's pretty good.
Couple
of transfers in there: Old Dominion, Wisconsin, UMass.
Yep, that's a solid group. I expect, if you ask me for my immediate analysis, which not 100% sure because we don't know, I would say Jaleel Kulbreath, Tackett Curtis, Rashad Henry, they're all going to be competing for that second linebacker spot. I like Kulbreath a lot as a player, had a ton of tackles. Tackett Curtis, though, I would say senior, has a ton of experience with Coach Grinch. He was there with USC, Wisconsin, so he has a lot of that experience with Coach Alex Grinch, and I think you'll see that on display on the football field this year.
Are you surprised there's still no named DB coach?
Yeah. That, first of all, take a step back. That whole situation was surprising as is. There was, I'm not if you've been following, but there has been a mass exodus of a lot of these college coaches into the NFL over the summer. Over the spring as they're preparing in the offseason. Will Johnson leaving was a bit of a shocker, especially for the recruiting that he did, bringing in a guy like Jalen Duffy from NSDU, North Dakota, because it was surprising. NDSU, I should say. It was surprising because he brings in a lot of these guys, and I'm of course speaking with a lot of the recruits on the team, and they're like, we were saying like, oh, he's a great coach, he's young, up and coming. I guess UCF saw what everybody else was waiting to see.
Other people saw that too.
Minnesota obviously saw something. Yeah. UCF may have given him the spotlight, but congratulations to him for taking an NFL job. It's hard to pass up an NFL job, but this quickly creates a new gap for the defense, and I feel like this pretty poor timing. I think UCF wants to get somebody in there sooner rather than later.
There's already been a couple of weeks.
It's been a couple of weeks. I've spoken to people on the program. They want to get somebody in. I think they're looking for the right guy. They want to make the right hire.
Gotcha. We will continue our look at the positions on next week's Suns Live. But we talked Alonzo Barnett. We talked men's basketball. Those were topics of conversation on this week's Around the Kingdom and Pegasus podcast.
Joe Lunardi has dropped them down more and more over the last few days without UCF playing a game, and obviously other results happening elsewhere. He has them in the last.
Yeah, he bumped them for Santa Clara, who's 2-5 against Q1 team. What? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
We've reached the point where I am a Joe Lenardi hater.
Trace, you and I have argued about this in the fall. What is the Big 12 a football league or basketball? I think the commissioner's on record telling you it's a basketball league. And he even Adam did references, but they're trying to get a big media deal basketball by in the 2030.
I applaud him for wanting to break up and try and negotiate basketball only rights, but this segment's called Silly Game. Brett Bjormark is silly. You got to put you got to win in football. You got to win in football, Elo. Be in the best basketball conference. Second to the NBA is try and fit that on a bumper sticker. That is not a billboard slogan. It's silly. Oftentimes, I challenge Adam to break the tie on Around the Kingdom Overtime. Where are you at on Brett Yormark and his push to make basketball seemingly more important than the football product?
We come out of the clips live. I see Matt Dolan. Elo's back on the surface of the sun. That kind of made me laugh a little bit. I would say I've spoken, not meaning this in a cocky way, but like with Brett a lot. And every time.
Oh, boy, here we go. I've spoken.
All right, I'm sorry. All right, guys.
I'm name dropping.
A fun show. I'll see you guys next week. Maybe never. I don't know. I got to speak with Brett at the Holiday Festival, which was, I can say, one of the biggest surprises I've ever seen. I'm going through, going down to the ESPN Disney World thing, whatever it's called. And
Wide World of Sports.
Wide World of Sports. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Against FAU. Then I'm looking at the tables and I'm saying, Brett Yormark is here? What kind of insane sanity?
Maybe they just leave that out because maybe he would just show up.
I guess he did. He was there. I got the opportunity to ask him a question. He was chatting it up with Dr. Cartwright. And he says Big 12 basketball is the second best conference in the entire world, second to the NBA. I think that tells you where he stands with his take on college basketball, because I can tell you for sure he's not saying that about Big 12 football, Trace.
He needs to make Big 12 football more relevant and more important is my only point there. All right. Softball up to 15th now in some polls. They won their Big 12 weekend opener at Oklahoma State. 22-5 now. Kathleen Moore has our softball minute.
This is Kathleen Moore with the Sons of UCF outside of the Plex for your UCF softball minute. The Knights returned home from Oklahoma State with a 2-1 series victory just a few days ago and are now looking to this Friday, March 13th, for their Big 12 home opener versus Baylor. Let's go now to head coach Cindy Ball-Malone on the identity of this team.
Yeah, well, they're definitely hungry. They play for each other, and they're resilient. Like they are fighters.
As their rankings climb higher and higher, so does their passion. This has been Kathleen Moore with your UCF Softball Minute.
All right, Mr. Cherico. Sunglasses in an on-cam. Where do you stand? Oh, here we go. You didn't have a prop right there. You didn't even know what she was going to look like.
I'm a fan. I like it. Some Sons of UCF swagger.
Oh,
all right, Trace?
Yeah,
that's what I say. I haven't been the most tapped in with UCF softball, but Cindy Ball-Malone always does a great job. And every time I speak with her, amazing person, amazing coach, and she knows how to rally the troops. Really impressed with this team this season.
Pitcher Isabella Vega, the Sports Illustrated National Pitcher of the Week. The Knights Big 12 opener this weekend. Baylor Friday at 6, Saturday at 4, Sunday at noon. Big weekend series. And of course, you can catch Kathleen and Eric Lopez, the voice of UCF softball, in their new show Behind the Dugout right now on Sons of UCF's YouTube channel. Baseball midweek loss. I heard you were out at baseball recently. Our timing didn't work out. I wasn't there. You were there. Knights 5-game win streak snapped. 9-5 lost to Miami. They're now 9-6. Andrew Gregg sums things up for us in the baseball minute.
Last weekend, UCF welcomed in a 10-3 Murray State team that is also a year removed from being in Omaha. The Knights responded to this challenge by sweeping the Racers, the last win coming in walk-off fashion with 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning. They then had Miami for a midweek matchup where they lost to the Hurricanes for the second time this season, And while this wasn't the result head coach Rich Wallace wanted, he's able to look at the season from a holistic perspective as they enter conference play.
Yeah, I think we should be able to defend. I think our starting pitching for what should be out there has been great. I think we're starting to figure out a couple pieces in that bullpen. It's just a matter of continuing to get better, and can we put all the pieces together. With the swings we're taking against some really good arms, I think if you don't get picked off and you get a bunt down, you're looking at 10 or 11 runs offensively. It just didn't work out that way.
The Knights struggled in conference play just a season ago, posting a 9-21 record, but will look to start off on the right foot this weekend against Oklahoma State. For the Sons of UCF, I'm Andrew Gregg.
Andrew dropped a holistic reference. Did you hear that? That's a pretty good reference there. I challenge you to work that into something you write this week.
I'll try my best. I respect Andrew Gregg. I've done this before. It looks like he was in a situation where I'd be a little bit more quiet. I've done my minutes sometimes where I've uploaded.
Yeah, that's a little subdued for Andrew. Andrew's normally a little bit larger
and
than
big energetic. I've uploaded some minutes like at 5 a.m. sometimes when the entire house is sleeping. I respect it. I respect the hustle, Andrew. Keep it going.
Big 12 opener, Oklahoma State, Friday at 6, Saturday at 6, Sunday at noon. Then they've got Columbia, St. Patrick's Day game. Let's talk about Andrew Gregg for just a second. I've got 10 seconds of video that Nick Williams shot at the Mascot race. Andrew was one of the participants on Tuesday. Let's take a look at that. Wednesday, rather. Let's take a look at that.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness.
Photo finish there, but
did he win?
Does it look like it? It looked like he goes. I text him. I go, what's going on? He goes, conserving energy. Conserving energy. How do you evaluate what you saw? And Andrew runs all the time, all over campus. He's fast. He's won that every other time. He coasted, right? Am I wrong?
I may be one of the more least qualified people to talk about running, Trace, but but that is an undeniable lack of effort right there from Andrew Gregg. I'm not sure what we saw. That reminds me of those YouTube videos that I'm scrolling sometimes, and then you see the guy who's kind of coasting along. And
it happened in the LA Marathon.
That's what I saw. Weekend. Yeah, exactly. What are we doing? This is, Sons of UCF almost undefeated this week.
Well, no. The week before, Miguel finished fourth.
Jesus, what are we doing?
Miguel finished
fourth. All right, that's it. I'm telling them to get me out there. I'm putting my chair on turbo.
So Nick Williams and I were talking about Sons of UCF race, and I said, who in the Suns could I beat? And he thought, I know Adam Eaton won't like this. He thought maybe Adam, but we agreed maybe I could beat you.
Me?
But I know you get pretty fast in this chair.
Trace, I'm a big.
You get like 20 miles an hour in this thing.
Trace, I'm a big endurance guy. All right, I might not have the quickest first step, but if we're going in laps, I think I can pull it out. It depends if my chair doesn't die on me around halfway. That's a big factor.
It sounds like a challenge. That'd be a mascot race of misfit
you remember
toys.
When Gus Malzahn came into the press conference and said we need to have a spring training mini games with all the UCF.
Yeah, how'd that turn out, Gus? Come on back for it.
I think he should host it. I'll tell him, get him out retirement one day.
I like that.
Get all the media.
We go around the kingdom now with a couple of top 20 teams. Men's tennis, 10th in the country. 10-0 undefeated non-conference slate at home. And women's tennis checks in this week at 20th. And it is time now for the mailbag.
So it's a mailbag. So what?
So what? Do you know whose mailbag that is?
It's that time again. Time to open the Brian W. Peterson Sons of UCF mailbag.
It means a lot. Sons of UCF, man, listen, they gave me a great campaign. Sons of UCF, baby.
Hi, fellas.
I love it. Ooh. My audio is completely. Trace, I think you're muted. Trace, I think you have the big red. I unmuted you, I think. No. Is that me? Well, guys, that's been Sons of UCF Live.
You can't hear me?
Okay, now I got you. We're back.
We're solving technical problems in real time. What I was saying there is Brian W. Peterson is a former student body president, and congratulations to Suns alum Dwayne Jones, elected vice president of the student body in elections held at UCF this week. That's pretty good. How about this? I got a question for you. Michael Feed, Emptiness on Twitter, refers to the Suns interns as Suns turns. You like that term? And what do you think about the term Suns alum? And what do you consider yourself? Because you've interned, you're here.
Whatever you want me to be. Suns of whatever you want me to be.
Mr. Matt Dolan, he's asking about when the teams win at this Big 12 tournament, they place their stickers. He's asking about this on day one where teams have double byes, haven't even played yet. Is this overdone, underdone? I'm fine with it. Fine with it, Matt.
Matt,
Kids are
I
having
don't
a
think
little
they're
fun.
fun at parties, all right? I think the guys deserve to have fun. I think a big part about sports and what builds that confidence and momentum is the teams being able to enjoy the little things. And I think it's completely off topic. World Baseball Classic, seeing Team Dominican Republic go crazy after every home run or have fun in the dugout, that kind of builds the momentum, the kind of spirit you need to go deep, especially in a tournament like this with plenty of talented teams. I think it's a great tradition. You can see the guys love it. You can see Coach loves it. I think it's something that should stay because it's fun. I'm a big fun guy, big vibes guy. Let's not kill the fun in sports.
You might know this next guy, Robert, 2 letters, 2 words. Does a coach like Mamadou Njai ever get hired again without having a player to leverage in a package deal? Well, it's bringing up some things from the past there.
Inside joke between me and Robert. If he authorizes me to say this, you always have to give me authorization to do anything. Last I've heard, Mamadou Njai and Chiam are currently taking calls. Right, I'm lying. Okay, don't quote that. I know. Don't do that.
Wait, is this legit or you?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, you're just playing.
Yeah. Still a little bit, have my reserved feelings about what happened. Who knows? Texas Tech, BYU may be calling soon. I don't know.
Knights 24/7 on Blue Sky. As a basketball coach in the offseason, do you try and fix John Bull's unorthodox free throw form? Boy, that's hard to say. Free throw form. Or do you just let it be? Happy with his overall percentage? It's funny to watch.
Can I
Again,
say
hope he's all right.
We've seen so much national attention on his free throw form. Like every time I see UCF on like Bleacher Report or ESPN, I'm just scrolling through. It's just John Bull's free throw form. To be honest, I know he's not on the team for making free throws. I'll tell you that. I'm not sure it's something that is an immediate fix for John Bull. I don't think that's on the list, the number one on his list of priorities. I think you want to see him continue to get more physical, build some mass, be stronger around the rim. I think it's fine. He knocks it down most of the time, I would say. It works. Like Matt says, it works. If it works, it works. It's not terrible.
Do you think the Knights keep him? Do you think the Knights keep him?
Oh, I would.
They're going to try, right? They're going to try and keep him.
That. This is a UCF team where you want to keep guys. I would say two priority retentions, I believe, are Chris Johnson, John Bull. I can see Chris Johnson with the right staff, right team around him, taking on a starting role next season. Potentially, we've seen the scoring potential that he has, and obviously the big time clutch factor. He's been, I would say, an excellent 6-man / with Devin Cambridge, depending on how you want to shift it. But I think those are 2 guys you absolutely want to keep on the team for next year. John Bull, I think UCF does a really good job at recruiting a center talent between Mustafa Chiam, even going back to Taco Fall, John Bull. I mean, you can say these guys aren't naturally the best basketball players. They're not fundamentally the best. They don't have all the skills. But what Johnny Dawkins and his staff has done is they refine this unreal athletic talent where they're just towers and giants of human beings, and telling them
giants of human beings.
Giants, yeah, they are giants among men, and kind of developing them into really solid bigs in college basketball, especially in the Big 12 for the past few years with Mustafa Chiam and John Bull now.
At Scott Leinert, how far do you think UCF softball can go this year? Definitely a tournament team, right? I think they showed win in a hostile environment like Stillwater over Oklahoma State. Got to take care of business at home, but every week it's a rock fight in the Big 12 in softball.
I know winning at home is the most important, Trace. Lots of talent on this team. We know Coach Ball Malone can make it happen with the young talent, the senior talent. I can definitely see a tournament appearance for this UCF softball team. very talented all around. I'm excited to see what they can accomplish.
Forgot to include that on our rundown, this one at UCF Knights Win. X feed full of recruiting stories, guys announcing top threes, taking official visits, no mention of UCF anywhere. Are we still recruiting high school players? You're on that beat for Knights 24/7. What do you think of that question, though? It's changed, right? With the emphasis on the portal, not only by UCF, but by most schools. What is it like to cover high school recruiting now from your perspective?
Oh, covering high school recruiting now from my perspective, it's still fun as ever. I love it. I love speaking with a lot of these guys. My favorite part about it is hearing these guys and their journey and working so hard, and now they're being recruited at the Power 4 level by some of the biggest schools, including UCF. And hearing these guys, you can see their dreams are being made come true. This UCF is still recruiting. UCF is still very active, posting a lot of recruiting content on the UCF Knights 24/7 board. More content on the way. Those guys who are planning their official visits with UCF coming in the earlier summer. I just had a really cool feature done with a quarterback, class of 2028 quarterback, Grayson.
2028?
Yeah, you know.
Oh, come on already with this.
You're always thinking ahead. Thinking ahead.
Who's it on? Which player?
Grayson Clary is his name.
Where's he from?
He was from, I believe, South Carolina. It was small town, South Carolina. But it was a really good conversation with him. I'll tell you this: his visit, really happened with just him and Mackenzie Milton. They had a really nice, long visit. Had a long conversation in his office. He said he loved everything about the way they worked. A very faith-based conversation as well. He dived into a lot of his faith and what it means to be recruited at the highest level. He has offers from Ole Miss and Oregon, so he is a talented prospect. And to see him wanting to schedule a visit with UCF and Mackenzie Milton making it happen, it was a really fun conversation. Definitely recommend you to check it out.
Gotcha. Thanks everybody for your questions. Hey, you want to play What's in the Box?
This is my favorite game.
This is your favorite game?
This is my favorite game.
Yeah, because you finished last in the game within the game, as
I hate the game within the game. Subbing in Robert. Robert, you're taking game within the game. You're taking my spot next season.
Werner, Hoffman, Greg, and Garcia, the sponsors of What's in the Box this week. Legal Eagles, personal injury, workers' comp, and more. WernerHoffman.com, 1-800-320-HELP. Let's see what we have here in the box. There's that one. I'll give you this one here. All right. Would you rather be invisible or read people's minds?
Oh, that's tough.
Do you know what I'm thinking right now?
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. Oh, man. Invisible. See, like I don't know if this is a problem about my character, but like the first thing I think about these questions is not what good I can do, but what crimes can
What?
Okay. Like, if I'm invisible, you know how many banks I can rob? It would be kind of funny.
Would you rob banks if you were? Come on. No. What?
I think too many people want to be a superhero, Trace. It's not terrible to do.
This is the dark side.
What am I talking about?
What do you think the advantage would be to reading minds?
Okay.
How would that help you in your life of crime?
Oh, life of crime. That would be like, I know the password to the CEO's bank. You know,
Wow,
I know.
You put some thought into this. This was just a random question out of the
I'm
box.
wired right now, Trace. I'm thinking, okay, if you can read minds, you can rule the world. Well, that's a fair take. I feel like reading minds could drive insanity.
You know the combination to the safe.
That's what I'm
thinking. If you can read minds, you know the combination to the safe.
I think, but I'm scared about the sanity level of reading. Imagine like you'd become obsessed with reading people's minds. That's scary.
Do you turn that on or off? This seems like an Adam-related question because when you ask him something, well, what's this? Well, I don't know. It's just a question.
Okay.
The invisible you turn on and off, the reading minds you turn on and off. You're not in that mode all the time, right?
That's fair. I like that take. If it's like that, okay. I don't know what this chat has become. I'm just seeing a lot of
the behind-the-scenes chat, the comments that do not make the screen. Are people critiquing your future life of crime?
Yeah. Okay. I think the chat has made a very valid case for reading minds. I think reading minds would be fun. Only if I can turn it off, though, because if I'm consistently reading people's minds all the time, I would lose my marbles. If I wasn't able to turn it off, then visibility would be my choice. Visibility could be fun. You can sneak into very like the White House. You can sneak into games. Super Bowl.
You're up to a lot of nefarious activity.
All right, really, in reality, I hate to drag this on longer, but what good are you doing with invisibility, Trace?
I don't know.
No, really. I need to know, what are you doing to positively impact society with invisibility? You can do a lot to impact society with reading minds. Positive. Yeah, invisibility, I'm not really sure.
Just sneaking around invisible. All right. What'd you think being back in the Suns live seat? You miss it?
Oh my God, classes are kicking my butt this year. I've been wanting to come back for a while.
What are you doing for spring break? That's next week, right?
Probably still working again. Gonna say a lot more recruiting articles on the way. Basketball analysis on the way. Nice 24/7. Catch my latest thoughts. Want to be back on the show? Hopefully, I'll be available. If you want to have me on, I'm more than willing. Putting you on the spot right there. So I'll see you this time next week.
All right, Adam, don't tune in. Want to thank Ben Hazel and BJ Taylor for being with us. That was pretty good.
That was
off the
wonderful.
top, talking good basketball with those
You want
guys.
to know UCF basketball and what they need to do to win in this tournament? I think tonight this was the place to be.
Thanks to Andrew Gregg for the baseball minute, Kathleen Moore for the softball minute, Miguel for running things behind the scenes. For Andrew Cherico, I'm Trace Trolko. Go Knights!
Charge on, everyone. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Johnny Dalton, the head men's basketball coach at UCF, and you're watching Sons of UCF Live.
Love Johnny. What a good guy. What a great guy.
That's a throwback when they used to do coaches tours.
Where was that? When was that?
That was somewhere out Brevard County, Cocoa Beach, maybe somewhere like that. I think.
Did you record that?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like getting them on camera doing that. It's fun stuff.